Welcome to yet another day on How to ABX. It is silent season 9/15/2023, and today is open day, so there's a lot of options. However, it seems like Magneto scores the most, so I'm going to be using Magneto today with a Rage. His rotation is pretty easy. You spam everything. The only thing you delay cancel is the 5, so that you can get that bubble to pop. Aside from that, you just kind of go with it. So let me go ahead and show you that in action, and we'll give you more details if you want to hang around. All right. Magneto. 5, 4, 2, 1, 3, just whatever's available. And as soon as things come off cooldown, I might do some auto attacks in between. You can cancel with the 5, of course, so you don't necessarily need to save anything. You just want to make sure that you have at least 10 seconds to fully cool down 5 before he roars. So pay attention to the beast roar timers is critical today to get that cancel off and not to lose your damage. So your first one is going to be 209. That's the first roar on that timer in the top left corner. The next one's going to be about 126 on silent season, and the last one is 38. The middle roar tends to switch between 116 and 126 depending on what season it is, but during silent season it is at 126. So right here I'm pushing it because at 119 that means we have just enough time to cool down 5 before he jumps center. You do want to pop it as soon as he's targetable when he's center, but look, it's 206, a little bit of a delay. As soon as he's targetable, he turns around, pop that 5, boom. Now there's your cancel. You see that cancel comes late, so you have to target that beast as soon as he turns around and is targetable. Do not wait for him to lift his paw. It's just when his body turns. That's when you want to cancel with that 5. So make sure you give yourself enough time. All right, so 126 is next, which means 136, you want to stop using your 5 and you want to hold it. Everything else, just go ahead and spam it. Spam, spam, spam. As I've said in my other videos, I jokingly call him Spamneto because he is definitely one of the spammiest characters out there. We are not at 126 yet, so I'm using the 5 there. Now we are passing the 126 mark right here with 4 seconds left on 5. So I am not going to use 5 until he jumps center and he is targetable. So he's jumping center, he's turning, popping the 5 right there, boom, there's the next cancel. And you can see about when it's going to do it. It's like halfway through. So it's very important that you get that 5 at the very beginning as soon as he's targetable. All right, last one is 138, which means last one is 38 seconds. So at 48 seconds, I want to make sure that I am storing up that 5. As you can see here, Magneto does an incredible job today. He's just insane, and we'll talk about alternates and the team I'm using and why I'm using it in a second here. There's 48. I do not want to use the 5 now because at 38 seconds, he's going to do his final roar. Now, it is possible to delay his roar, so you might notice that it's not always the same time, but having the basic idea of around what time, yeah, see, it's already been delayed because he's still attacking. So I could have actually done the 5 there, but it's not worth risking. Boom, he's targetable. Finish this up. We should be able to hit about 15 million. That's about what I score typically with my Magneto. But like I said, we'll talk about team up, the team comp, alternate teams that you can use today, and how my account's built. I always show my cards and my X swords. I'll show them quick. I'm not going to go over them in great detail. You can pause the screen if you want to see what I have built up. All right. 5 seconds left. Whew, we are really getting that score up there. I don't think we're going to break 16, but that is a nice score. 15.8 million. I like that score. That's actually a pretty good one. Let me write that down. And mute my microphone as I cough. All right, 158714112. Yeah, I'm good with that score. That's definitely a little bit higher than I typically score, but I'll take it. Let's talk about why. So let's look at my account, see how my account is built, and go from there. So like I said, here are my cards. I like to show the cards and the X swords just for the simple fact that people want to know why you're scoring what you score. Well, how your cards are built and how your account is built has a huge factor. How your characters are built. So yes, I show it in every single video, but if this is your first video, I want you to have all the information up front. And in case my cards ever do change over time, I want you to know that as well. So here's my overall stats for Magneto. I always point this out, those yellow stats, those are capped. So that red I'm showing right now, the over cap, that's over. It stops, attack speed stops at 130. So technically, I've got 143. That 13% does nothing. Once you hit that cap, you can work on other skills. Your attacks don't cap, so I'm at 99,000. I'll keep putting more into attack as time goes on to try to get him as high as possible. I have pretty much everything amplified, and I do have Odin's Blessings on a lot of his different gear. Make sure the Uru are at least 5 stars. I'm using Black Widow as the striker because he can cancel with his 5. Black Widow, tier 4 with a rage. If your striker is built, they do more damage, and for whatever reason, Black Widow seems to amplify the score. If you want to use an instinct match, go for it. Do a comparison. Do at least 5 runs, but it seems like Black Widow does really, really good for increasing your score, specifically in ABX, and that is, I believe, due to the fact that she has a really good area clear, and she does like a lot of damage to a whole bunch of different characters all at one time, kind of clears the mobs. But from my testing, from recommendations from other veteran players, Black Widow seems to be the optimal choice for today. So, and I've actually scored more since I've stopped using an instinct match. I used to use Mephisto in the past as the striker. So Power the Angry Hulk, any of your attack sets will work. Power the Angry Hulk, Overdrive, and Hawkeye. Just make sure you have 6 red stars on all your ISO 8. Artifact, I do not have as Artifact. I do have a Destruction one, which is +9. That's an Instinct match. I do have a Mighty Rage with the Enraged power here. You do want Enraged. I think that's better than the All Attack. And I have a 0.9% for the roll. So not too shabby there. I've got a Mythic uniform. This is a seasonal uniform. Krakoan Winter uniform. And here are the uniform options. I'll go through those nice and quick. Pause it if you want to see what they are. But just kind of showing them. You can look it up elsewhere. It's just, again, trying to get all the information in one video in one spot. Now let's talk about the team I'm using, why I'm using them, what I feel is the meta team for today, and alternate options in case you don't have Magneto's Krakoan uniform. Because if you do not have his uniform, oops, wrong game mode. If you do not have his uniform, the Krakoan Winter, I actually do not recommend using him at all today, even at tier 4. With the Krakoan uniform, I think he is the meta. I believe this is the meta team, and this is why. He has his own self-lead, 50% increase all basic attacks. Dazzler will help mutant allies. Now, the way you know they're mutant allies, if you go to their details page, right over here on the left-hand side, you'll see allies says mutant. If it doesn't say mutant, Dazzler does nothing for them. Now, since Magneto is a mutant, mutant allies are getting ignore target's dodge rate by 70% and increase basic damage dealt to boss types by 65%. That is an incredible support ability. Awesome character there with Dazzler. I also have Valkyrie over here, who has a support passive, which ignore target's dodge by 35, increase basic damage dealt by 55%. Also increases damage received. I don't think that one helps too much in ABX, but that 55% there is the main reason. And I do have Insight on Valkyrie. I think she's worthy of an Insight. You definitely want to have it on one of your characters at least anytime you play any of your AB modes to push your score. So that right there, in my opinion, is the optimal team. Other people I would consider using for today. Jean Grey with the Phoenix, the Dark Phoenix uniform right here. I do have a brilliant rage on her, but my Magneto with Mighty actually outscores her by a little bit. I typically do just over 14 million, just under 15 million with Jean Grey. But as you can see, I'm almost hitting 15.5. Well, actually I did. I broke 15.5 with Magneto. So I use Magneto instead of her. Luna Snow is another fantastic option. And though I have a brilliant rage on her, it's all attack. I need to re-roll that to the other. But it does seem like for people, it's Luna Snow or Magneto. So if I was going to rank these 3 characters, the meta for today, Magneto number 1, Luna Snow number 2, and then Jean Grey probably number 3. The other thing to point out too is Magneto has a self-leadership, so he can be double supported, and that double support with that extra damage dealt. Damage dealt, basically all attack is just throwing it out there, right? So you have resistances and dodges and you can miss. Damage dealt is what actually gets through. So you amplify after it actually does the damage versus potential damage. That's the way I understand damage dealt. That's why I think damage dealt is better support ability than the all attack. So with Jean or someone else, like I said, with Jean or Luna Snow, you're going to need a lead, so you're going to be losing out on support. So you want to have like a double support lead. Like with Jean Grey, you can use Ghost Panther's leadership, who both gives leadership for fire damage and damage dealt as a support ability, and I have an insight on him. So if it was a Jean Grey team, I would go Ghost Panther leadership, Jean Grey, and Valkyrie. If I was going to go for a Luna Snow, I would probably go with Shuri's leadership with her newest uniform, because that both has damage dealt and a 35% all attack buff to speed characters. And then I would put in White Fox, because White Fox helps leadership characters with her damage dealt, and that is a much better support than what Valkyrie offers. So those are the 3 meta teams there, but any of your AB characters can be used, and there is plenty. So kind of sky's the limit. Use your favorite. This is my recommendation and why I do it. So thanks for watching. May your ABX scores be as high as possible, and I'll catch you in the next one.